Now, before I even go into starting this video, I have to come out and say it right out. This idea isn't mine. This wasn't my not my this was not my idea for this video. I actually got this idea from Steven. Steven from Shin Megami Tensei. He messaged me directly and asked if I had any new ideas for videos, and if I was okay, or where am I? And I replied to that message, that I was just doing things, just minding my own business and just trying to stay alive and away from this pandemic. And he was like, man, if you do have any ideas, it'll be cool to hear, your thoughts about Suda 51 and, his games. And I was kind of like, you know what, that would be a great idea, actually, to make a video talking about one of my favorite game directors, which is Suda 51. So, knowing that I got this message from Steven has told me that I am no longer on the law or chaos route. I am officially neutral route now. I am on the neutral route in life right now, which is kind of interesting. So, if you guys want to thank anybody for this video, thanks Steven for this one. Anyway, starting with my Suda 51 journey. So, Suda 51, starting from the beginning, I did not know who Suda 51 was. I have a friend of mine to thank, my friend A Groove. Suda 51 was, I never knew he existed until I saw him playing a game called No More Heroes. For anyone who doesn't know, No More Heroes is it's pretty much about a guy who basically orders a lightsaber off of eBay and becomes an assassin. If you think that sounds, crazy as hell, it is crazy as hell, actually. But my friend A Groove has a tendency to like things that are weird. When I saw him playing this game, it was back in 2008, 2009, I think, and I didn't care for a game like this at the time. And when that happened, I was more into playing games like Prototype. Prototype was like right around the corner, and I was like, I want to play Prototype. So I just kind of ignored anything that Suda 51 made. It wasn't until I saw this trailer.
A swipe named Fleming stole my girl. I am here to take her back.
Meaning you are on a quest to kick the Prince of Evil's ass? Holy shit!
Dios mío.
Shadows of the Damned was one of the coolest trailers I saw at that time. It was one of the absolute coolest, and this is the game that started me on my Suda 51 journey. I played Shadows of the Damned. I played it so much, in fact, that I bought it on both consoles. I beat it on Xbox 360 first, and I beat it to its entirety, and then I beat it again on PlayStation 3, and I beat it on multiple different difficulties. Not too long after that, another trailer came out, which I would say years later, and I was like, alright, you know what, I'm probably gonna grab this. And it was Lollipop Chainsaw. Lollipop Chainsaw was one of those weird games that I was like, I don't know why I like this, but I got to the impression that my friend A Groove was starting to rub off on me, and I started just playing weird things here and there. The strange thing is that all my niche games started there. As you guys know, that I am a very niche gamer. Like, when it comes to video games that are very niche, very weird, I can't describe in words, are games that attract my attention. And I know, like, recently has probably gotten a little bit out of hand, which is insane. Recently, I actually went to, I was kind of contemplating on whether I should get The Last of Us 2 or not, because I played the first one, and I was kind of like, that's a pretty good ending. I think it should end right there. And I was like, maybe I should get The Last of Us 2. Maybe it might be good. And And I went to the store, and then all of a sudden I see this game out of the corner of my eye, which is at Best Buy, and I was like, I think I'm gonna leave The Last of Us 2 and get these 3 instead. Well, these 2, because I ended up buying a copy of Disaster Report 4 and Crystar, because they just look weird. Disaster Report is basically a game where you play as a character that you create, whether it be male or female, and they were on their way to an interview, and a catastrophic earthquake hit that shocked Japan. And you basically have to survive within these random tremors and buildings falling and all these epidemics that are going around Japan. And you have to meet new people. Then you have games like Crystar, where it's a game where it's a dungeon crawling hack and slash musho brawler where you basically have to fight to resurrect the dear sister that you accidentally murdered. You had me at dungeon crawler. But those games are niche, they're weird, and I ended up buying this weird game called Nippon Marathon. These 3 games are freaking weird. There's a guy in a lobster suit running next to a humanoid dog. Why would I not buy this? So I picked these 3 games over The Last of Us 2. I'm really, really in a weird place with niche games because they just do something that I noticed that a lot of games don't do, and it is with a lot of with The Last of Us 2, I kind of know what I'm getting myself into. You know, when you see it and you hear it, you kind of already know. With these other 3 games, I have no idea what I'm walking into, and that's exciting for me, is the unknown. And I kind of like that. In the beginning, when it came to niche games like Suda 51, I never paid attention to any of these things. And it wasn't until later in my life, so I pretty much have to thank my friend A Groove and Suda 51 for this. A couple of years later, I think after I've beaten Shadows of the Damned and Lollipop Chainsaw, another hit came out, which was a hit for me that I enjoyed, and it was Killer is Dead. Killer is Dead came out, and after I played Killer is Dead, I unlocked everything. I basically beat that game in different difficulties because I enjoyed it that much, except for one section of the game. I officially became a Suda 51 fan. From that point on, I was like, I want more Suda 51. Then I ended up going along and playing his other game, which was on the 3DS, called Liberation Maiden. Ended up playing through that in its entirety, which is basically about a high school girl who becomes the president. I think she was the president of Japan or the president of the United States of America, and she rides a giant mech and she fights robots or aliens or something like that. I ended up playing that a long time ago, and I was like, Suda 51's insane. I have to buy more of his games. I gotta get more. And then I don't know what happened, but I have to thank Suda 51, my friend, for me getting into this niche genre, because if it wasn't for most of these games, a lot of these other games that no one really cares about, that pretty much everybody just turns a blind eye to, are actually really good. And I ended up buying a lot of these games throughout, my years of gaming. And I would say collecting too, because I don't really sell any of my games anymore unless I really don't like it. But a lot of these games are like close to me. Like I recently bought a game that I really enjoy because it kind of reminded me of like playing Dynasty Warriors meets Killer is Dead, which is it's a game called Dusk Diver, which I really enjoy. Dusk Diver is I just gravitate towards it. I ended up years later playing through the Silver Case 2, which was also a Suda 51 game. Ended up playing through that, and I enjoyed that. I haven't played 25th Ward yet, which is weird because I feel like I should play that, but I haven't played that yet. mostly because visual novels are really hard for me to get into because I really want to play a game. I don't really want to read it, but you know, hey, whatever. I think a couple of Suda51 games that I do have, but I haven't really played through. One of them was Killer is Dead. I have Killer is Dead, but I've played through the first 2 chapters of that game, and then I kind of put it on the shelf. Only because when I was playing the game, I kind of felt like you have to be in the mood to play Killer is Dead. I feel like you just can't play Killer is Dead, which is weird for me. I have to be in a certain kind of mood. I have to be in a weird mood to play Killer is Dead. You know, it's kind of weird, but that's just how I feel about Killer is Dead. But another game that I can honestly say I did not find 2 games that I didn't really find much fun when it came to Suda51 games was probably, the first one was probably Sign Mora. I don't find that game very fun, and I like shmups, like I like shooters, I like horizontal shooters, but I don't like this game. I think it has something to do with the fact that I feel like there isn't enough bullets on the screen. Like I feel like there should be more bullets, but that's just my bias of the game. But it has a really interesting story, which is very good to dive into. But when I play a shooter, I don't really care about the story much, but it's very story driven. But that's a game that I feel like I have to give another chance to. And the other game that I did not really enjoy was Let It Die. I did not enjoy that game. I played it for about 5 hours, and I was just kind of like, I don't like this game. I don't like this game. I like the idea, and I like what he's doing. He's doing this whole arcade thing, because he likes his arcadey games. Like Lollipop Chainsaw is very arcadey, and he's doing that, but with like a Dark Souls-y kind of feel. And it just came off annoying to me. I didn't enjoy that game. But he has a couple of other games that I'm not too familiar with, but I know that they exist. Like, there's a game on the 3DS. It's like a mystery game. It has like a weird title, but it's on the DS, and I completely forgot what it's called. But I know you guys would see it if you guys Google Suda51. As a matter of fact, I'm in front of the computer right now. I can probably like just I can look at oh, there it is. Flower, Sun, and Rain. It's like Murder and Mystery in Paradise. Like, I know he made that, and I've never played that. But another one of his games that he did make that I really do want to play, which is Michigan Report from Hell on the PS2. Never played that, but that seems interesting. And I never played the Switch game, which is Travis Strikes Again. Is it? Yeah, Travis Strikes Again. Never played that, but and I never played it because I don't own a Switch. But I am into Suda51, and I've been a fan of Suda51 because if it wasn't for Suda51 and my friends showing me that Suda51 games exist, I wouldn't be into all these other weird games that I find very entertaining, very fun. So I felt like he really opened those two, I should say. Those two really opened the door to like different kinds of games, you know. Like, I'll go out and I'll try different kinds of games like Katamari Damacy or Munchables on the Nintendo Wii, Fragile Dreams. Another game that I'm playing right now that's really entertaining on the PlayStation 3, which is Tornado Outbreak. It's kind of like Katamari Damacy, but it has this this cartoonish, this Saturday morning cartoon feel to it. And it's very, very fun. It's I think it's pretty cheap still, but it's really, really fun. But one of my absolute favorite games from Suda51 is Renko Sugemi's Longest Day, which is the short piece game. It's a game that comes with an anime made by like 8 different directors with 8 different art styles or something like that. But the game is what I really enjoy. It feels like I'm playing a Sonic the Hedgehog speedrunning game with arcade feel to it, because you have to beat the levels in certain times and there's bosses, and you guys check it out. It's a fun game, Renko Sugemi's Longest Day. But anyway, I haven't made a video in a long time, and you guys can thank Steven for this one because this was all his idea. This was their idea, so thank them because they pitched me the idea to make a new video. Because I really wasn't going to make a video because I haven't really come up with anything to make. I've just been watching the world attack itself from the inside out. And I've just been playing video games and trying to, you know, just keep to myself. But I needed to make a video, and I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.